This is something I wrote that I think sums up basically everything I want to tell you. And it's called I Have a Plan.
Last thoughts from me. I have a plan. I was born on August 28th, 1962. On that same date, 1 year later, in 1963, a black leader pronounced his renowned speech describing his dream and his vision for a future of peace and equality, a speech which has inspired hope and goodwill in people all over the world. I have always lived my life knowing that all things are possible if we truly believe, and I have been reminded of this power also by the very date of my birth, a date which was made historic by a very special and courageous man.
Years ago, I too had a dream, but today I have a plan. I have a plan which has been handed to me by God, and everything I do in my life from this day on must be attributed to the grace of God and to His love for mankind. I am simply a messenger implementing a plan created by love itself. Years ago, I had a dream, but today I have a plan. It's time to understand that we, as humanity, must create a new dream for man. It's time to contest the very foundations upon which our society has been created. It's time to awaken and to realize that a dream based on inequality, on false values, is not only in reality the cause of never ending struggle and unrest amongst people, but it is also the reason why we have lost our direction as a humanity. The time has come to create a new direction. It's time to remember our original direction and finally do justice to ourselves and to our souls. We must all acknowledge that our true, clear direction must be evolution. The pursuit of our happiness lies in our evolution as human beings. How can humanity evolve if our societies are based on the accumulation of wealth? And this wealth is used as a parameter with which to judge, to exclude, to denigrate, or to exalt individuals who are, in reality, all created equal and immense in the eyes of God. It's time to change the dream and put the plan into action. We as a humanity must start to look at our fellow man and ourselves as God sees us. And this will be the beginning of our evolution as a species. We must eradicate from our minds that evolution is based on how fast we progress through technological advancements. There can be no technological evolution without a continuous internal path of personal evolution, which must occur within each and every individual. It is time to understand the secret which has permitted inequality and vile racism to fester like an infected open wound since the beginning of time. Let the secret be known. Any child, woman, or man who lives in pain is a slave, and it's time to break the chains and free the slaves of their pain and suffering. It's time to work together to create a world in which every living being ceases to live in pain. It is time to free humanity from the shackles of emotional and physical pain and suffering which have kept people in self-imposed prisons. We have existed without ever possessing a clear direction and have chased empty values. And it's time to see that we have created a world of pain and suffering which has pervaded every angle and inch of our existence. It's time to understand and to use our true power. It's time to realize that life is our greatest gift.
Years ago, I had a dream. Today, I have a plan. We are immense miracles in God's eyes, and we were born free. We must create a world in which every child, woman, and man knows with conviction that they are miracles. Miracles do not ask that their sense of worth be given to them by others. Contemplating the worth of a miracle is as illogical as trying to discover how many drops of water are in the sea. For humanity to flourish, we must create and live in a world in which no individual will ever ask another human being again for recognition of his self-worth, because he will have finally realized himself that he is a miracle in God's eyes. I have a plan that no human being will ever search outside himself for a sense of his self-worth, for his identity, and for his value, all of which have been given to every human being at birth. Freedom is a man's birthright, just as is his incommensurable precious value. We will never be free until we experience freedom within ourselves. We are and have always been free. The knowledge of this powerful inner freedom which God has granted to all of us totally eliminates the search for freedom outside of ourselves and immediately frees us from all shackles. We are responsible for the creation of our emotional prisons due to our never having known, or maybe having forgotten, the immense miracles we are in reality. When we have a chance to leave our emotional and physical prisons, we must act swiftly and decidedly to evade these constraints and thrive as free people as we continue to evolve. We must strive to be free and know that our freedom cannot be given to us by another man, just as our equality is not to be bestowed upon us by others. Freedom and equality can only be born from the acknowledgement and the realization, which must be deeply rooted within each and every one of us, that we truly are miracles in the eyes of God. God's definitive and immense revolution is not through protests, violence, condemning, or hating. God's revolution is evolution. Never again shall any man ask another man for his freedom or his equality. From this day on, we must live with the conviction that we are all equal and free. It is time to understand the true meaning of freedom. It is time to understand the true roots of inequality. There can be no justice until all people know that they are equal and they take back their original power, the power of self. There can be no democracy until every person knows within himself that he is equal to all other human beings. There can be no equality until all people know within themselves that they are equal. We must push and strive to create a world in which no man will ever judge another man again. I have a plan, and I'm asking you to never ask another human being for your dignity. Live your dignity with every breath you take. Hold your head high and know that you are free, that you are priceless, and that your dignity is deeply rooted in your self-love. Your self-love is your North Star in your life and will lead you to your freedom. My plan is for all men to live and breathe their dignity, their freedom, their sense of self-love, and their unwavering conviction of their God-given equality during every moment of their entire existence. Evolution means striving and living in perfect health, and just like the secrets which I have divulged previously, yet another immense secret must be revealed. You have the capacity to create perfect emotional and physical health for yourself. It is time that humanity also understands that emotional health is physical health. God's revolution is evolutionary health. Your perfect health lies within your personal path of evolution and self-love. Not only are you a miracle, but it's time that you know that your body is capable of much more than you have ever dreamed possible. Years ago, I had a dream. Today, I have a plan. It's time to understand that we all belong to a collective, and our evolution lies in us working together hand in hand with love in our hearts for the good of this collective. Working for the collective good means that we are giving ourselves, our families, and our planet one of the greatest gifts possible. It is time to understand that we are all bound together and that we must all be on our personal path and quest for evolution. The human body and the human mind should be used for our own good and for the good of our collective, our humanity. Becoming our strongest self, emotionally and physically, is an objective that we must all have at heart, and working towards this objective is a precious gift which we positively contribute to the collective. On our collective path towards evolution, human beings will become stronger emotionally and physically every single day of their lives. Weakened bodies will respond. Our children will respond. Future generations will respond. And they will reap the benefits of our efforts for continuous evolution which we implement today. It is time for us to grow older in perfect health, and it is time for us to live without fear. We must not live with a fear of the future, of our bodies, of our minds, and of others. A collective in which every individual lives with self-love and cultivates the natural capacities of the human body and mind is a collective which will live free. Free from disease, free from suffering, and free from fear. Evolutionary health is freedom, and it has always been our destiny as a humanity. Our freedom comes from knowing that there is no enemy if we do not create enemies with others and within ourselves. Our freedom comes from knowing that there is no oppressive system controlling us if we do not participate in and facilitate oppressive systems. Our freedom comes from knowing that there can be no influence upon our minds if we cease to listen to detrimental messages which undermine self-esteem, individuality, and the evolution of the mind. It's time to heal ourselves and our beautiful planet, which has been pushed to its absolute limits. It's time to make a change and know that your beauty, your wealth, and your riches all lie within you. It's time to know that God has never judged you and that you are not judged, but it is imperative that you commence your true walk towards your evolution.
Years ago, I had a dream, and today I have a plan. It's time to let truth live and flourish. We must strive to create a world in which all people expect and want the truth, and lies are refused and seen for what they really are, attacks on the evolution of humanity. It is time to accept nothing less than the truth from ourselves and from others. We must never forget the importance of the truth, and we must want to see and base our society and our lives on the continuous search for the truth. The plan is for all men to want to live with truth, a truth which will uplift all men to a higher existence and will give people clarity on their personal journey called life. A humanity which lives with truth easily sees the lies. Truth must live in our governments, in our institutions, in all our businesses, in our schools, in our families, our homes, and above all, in ourselves. The truth is easily recognized when it's seen and heard, and we as a people must always want to see it and hear it. And when we don't, we must go in search of the truth, wherever it may lead us. The truth will set us free. All people are created equal, and this truth is self-evident. It is time to live with coherency. It's time to live through concrete actions which are loyal to and mirror one's words. It's time for us to push past the dreams and to create a new reality. Our dreams must become plans. The plan I have today is a plan of action. These words I'm telling you will never be rhetoric. Useless rhetoric has no place in humanity, in evolution. God's plan is for man to create a world in which every person's word corresponds to the truth and will never be like dust. blown into the wind. It's time to create a world in which verbal and physical abuse and bullying, the use of force upon others, the abuse of power and terror tactics are immediately refused by all because humanity now has what it has never possessed before, a clear direction. And that direction is evolution. Years ago, I had a dream, and today I have a plan. It's time to learn how to love. It's time to understand love. It's time to empty our hearts from hurt, anger, and pain and fill them now with unconditional love first for ourselves. It's truly time to really love our children. Children born and raised in love and peace are our future. It's time for all parents to become fully aware of the precious miracles which they have created, and that all children deserve to be loved like God loves all of us unconditionally. All parents and all adults must make it their new objective to learn how to expand their hearts and to increase their ability to love every day more and more. Raising an emotionally stable child is the greatest gift of love a person can contribute to our humanity. Years ago, I had a dream, and today I have a plan. The change in our society must start at the bottom, within each and every one of us, but it must also reach to the vertexes of power. It's time to demand that coherent, honest, capable leaders occupy roles of power, and that these individuals are held accountable for their actions and for their results. Every person must be driven to act and to protect their fellow man against the very first sign of injustice. And we must all be part of the solution the minute we see that another human being is not able to breathe. It's time for us all to create a world in which no one feels that someone else is responsible for fixing our society until they themselves have first done everything possible in their power to be a part of the definitive solution. If we want to reclaim all of our God-given freedom, we must abolish passivity. Human passivity is the complete opposite of evolution and will contaminate and destroy our quest for illumination, just like a vicious, metastasized cancer. Our mankind now has a new destination, evolution. The plan is for every human being to contribute to the collective with their intelligence, honesty, individuality, voice, and goodness. Let us contribute to the collective through our creativity, our wisdom, our love. It's time for us to create a collective which lives in peace. Hate is not contemplated in a world which is on its natural course towards evolution. We will create peace in our world when we first create peace within ourselves.
Years ago, I had a dream, and today I have a plan. Today, the most beautiful part of this dream, which is now a plan, is that mankind will finally know and live the true meaning of love based on the almightiest expression of absolute love, God Himself. Love itself created this plan of freedom for all. Thank God Almighty for teaching humanity that we have always been free and powerful and loved. The end, or should I say, the beginning.
Years ago, I had a dream, and today I have a plan. The responsibility now is up to you of what kind of existence you choose to live. I had a dream, it's now a plan. You have to decide what your direction is. I know where I'm going. Where are you going?